Hi guys, it's Gav here from DancePlanet.tv. Thanks for joining me as always. And in today's show, me and Peter, my special guest today from Melbourne, Australia, are going to be discussing night 15 at the Premier Dance League, which is on Thursday the 3rd of May from Birmingham. So thank you for joining me today, Peter. How are you?
Good, thanks, Gav. How are you?
Yeah, really well, thank you. How's the weather in Australia?
Yeah, chilly, but probably not as cold as you're used to.
I bet your Chile's about 20 degrees, isn't it?
Yeah, right on.
I knew you was going to say that. It's been a nightmare over here in the UK. It's been so cold recently. So, obviously, it's great to have you on the show today. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Do you play darts? And if so, what sort of level do you play at?
Yeah, I first started playing it just at home about 4 years ago. Yeah, at home playing friends. And then about a year ago, I just went to a pub and joined a team last year, and yeah, so I've been playing in that competition for about a year.
Fantastic.
And I'm just a battler. I'm some good nights, some bad. A lot of 26s and 22s.
I said in my video, I'm the best 26 hitter in the world. Nightmare. I hit so many 26s, it's crazy. I think I've been in the Guinness Book of Records for them. So obviously, been supporting Simon Whitlock through the Premier League this year, or somebody else?
Yeah.
I take it as Simon Whitlock.
No, yeah, it has to be the Wizard.
Yeah.
Good to see him back. But also good. I'm a big Gary Anderson fan too.
Right.
Just
Okay.
like the way he goes about it. Yeah, just no fuss, just gets the job done.
I think it's a shame. Yeah. I think it's a shame for Whitlock, isn't it, Peter? Because obviously starting off so well in the Premier League this year, like with I think he had 4 straight wins. I was thinking if he had a couple more after that, it'd have almost been at like sort of 12, 14 points, not leaving himself so much work to do. And now he's obviously totally out of it. But he did give himself big chance, didn't he?
He did. He was probably one that only just was borderline just to get into the Premier League. So he's got to the last 8. He might push up to maybe the top 6, and all in all, that's probably not a bad result at the start of the season.
No.
He should be back again next season.
Yeah, I'm sure he will be. So let's have a look at the opening game of the night. The opening game of the night, we've got Peter Snakebite Wright against Simon Whitlock. As we said, they're obviously both out. Neither of them can make the playoffs. Last week, Peter Wright, he lost 7-1 to Michael Smith. Looked really out of sorts. He had an average of 97.86. He had 180, but just a check-out percentage of 14.29. Obviously, Smith could have whitewashed him. And then obviously Simon Whitlock last week, he beat Gary Anderson, played really, really well, 175, had an average of 96.78, 4 180s and a 46.67% checkout. How do you see this one going?
Yeah, well, both players just playing for pride basically at this stage now, but yeah, I've got it as a draw, 6-all. Yeah, another really disappointing performance from Peter Wright last week. He's had far too many of those, as I'm sure you're aware.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you had this game in the first week of the season, I would have said Wright. But now I can't really split him at this particular time, so I'll say 6-all. Do
you know what? I've got 6-all as well. I think it's going to be like Peter Wright's had I think his plan, and I think Burton covered it in yesterday's video that I did, the stat guy, he plays every single tournament. He was obviously ill over Christmas. He messes about with his equipment too much. And I'd normally go for Peter Wright, but I can't see anything other than a draw here. So I'm agreeing with that one at 6-all. Next up, we've got Daryl Gurney against Michael Smith. Last week, Daryl Gurney could have beat MVG. Ended up a draw at 6-all. He had 100.16 average, couple of 180s, but a 66.67% checkout, 6 from 9. Obviously, MVG... Michael Smith last week started off and beat Wright in a really convincing win, 7-1, 104.86 average in that one. 4 180s and a checkout percentage of 70%. But then he went the other way in the final match and nearly got whitewashed, didn't he, against Van Gerwen, and lost 7-1 with a 96.28 and a checkout percentage of 11.11. So how do you see this one going? It's a tale of the tape, isn't it? It's crazy.
It is. Yeah, I found this one tough to predict. I've actually gone Gurney 7-5. I think, depending on the other results, Gurney definitely needs a win to have any chance of going into the playoffs.
Yeah, he's got to win it, innit? He has to win it.
And I think, I'm not sure which order these games are, but he may even be eliminated by the time this game starts. I'm not sure, but
no, this is the actual order. We're actually covered them in the order of the matches, or it should be this order. Yeah, so
it will be okay. So he needs to win to have any sort of chance. Even if he does, he probably still won't make it. But yeah, I think Smith, I think you've mentioned it previously. His averages haven't been as good as you would think, given where he is on the table. His overall tournaments maybe mid-90s, is it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
like,
something like about 96 or 95, isn't it? I think we've. Sorry, carry on. Sorry.
Yeah. I think. Well, he has played well. I think his wins has probably flattered him a little bit. But yeah, it could go either way. But I've just got Gurney edging it. He needs to win, so I've got him 7-5.
7-5. I think Michael Smith is very similar to how James Wade is now. I think he's able to play the player in front of him, and he's found a way to win, which I think's, and his confidence is really high. And if you can do that, you're always going to give yourself chances. And also, he used to let his head drop, whereas now he just carry on. Yes, he lost his last game last week, 7-1 to MVG, but it ain't going to phase him at all, and I think he'll come back. I've actually gone for a draw in this one. I'm going for a 6-all draw. Obviously, that will then eliminate Gurney from the playoffs, and we'll have our top 4 in there. Next up, we've got world champ Rob Cross against Michael van Gerwen. Obviously, last week, Cross drew with Van Barneveld, 94.55 average, a checkout percentage of 66.67, and Van Gerwen obviously then got that draw with Gurney. He got back into that with a 6-all draw. He had 104.96 average in that and a 54.55% checkout, and then obviously he went on to beat Michael Smith, as we just covered, 7-1. He only averaged 94.76 in that and a 38.89. How do you see Cross versus MVG going?
Yeah, I always find it hard to go against Van Gerwen. So
yeah, it is difficult, isn't it?
It is. Until he starts dropping off, I think I'll be predicting him to win every match he plays. I've got him 7-5.
Yeah, I agree with you on that, 7-5.
Yeah, I think Cross, though, would be happy just if you could get a point, especially where the table's sitting right now. He just needs one more point to secure his spot.
Yeah.
So he'd be happy with a draw. Just 1 point. Well, when we make these predictions,
yeah,
it often depends on which player's throwing first. Because if Van Gerwen was throwing first, I think he's more likely to win 7-4. But because if it's 6-4 and then he's throwing, he's probably more likely to win 7-4. But
yeah, that's a good point actually. Yeah, I know what you mean. Obviously, it's good with the Premier League because it don't really matter who throw first. Is in regards you can still get the draw, whereas you can't in a match. But psychologically, it must make a difference, mustn't it?
And the leg difference comes into play as well.
Yeah.
And in other tournaments, I don't know why they don't show the throw for ball on stage.
Yeah, I've never understood that. It's always done in the back room, isn't it? I think it should be done up in front of everybody on the stage.
Because how many times does that determine, goes to the last leg, and whoever has the darts in the last leg is a major advantage. So, yeah, anyway.
Unless you're somebody like Taylor that win the ball and then say that they can go first anyway.
Yeah.
That's what he used to do, didn't he? Put it in the head straight away. I think also, now we're covering these bits actually, Peter, I think it also makes a difference where you are throughout the whole Premier League, where you play throughout the night. I would much rather, if I'm being honest, I wouldn't want to be first on a lot of the time. I'd much rather be either last or third on as the night's warmed up. You've got more practice time. I don't know, just psychologically again, I think you've got to have an advantage being third or fourth or even fifth on, in the earlier rounds. Do you?
Yeah, that's a good point. But then the other side to that is, at least if you're on first, you know exactly what time you're going to be playing.
Yeah, I suppose so, yeah.
I guess it's...
I think if I was a player, I'd like the buzz, especially when they've all had loads of beers and they're chanting a bit more and get into it. I don't know, it's just one of those things, isn't it? Next up, anyway, we've got Gary Anderson against Raymond van Barneveld. Obviously, Gary Anderson last week, he lost to Whitlock. He was all out of sorts. He was miscounting. He didn't look at the races at all to me. He could have secured his spot. He only had a 94.45 average and a 38.46% checkout. While Barney, as we know, drew across. He only had a 94.02 average. It was enough. And a checkout of 46.15. How do you see this one going, Peter? Who are you going for?
Yeah, again, another tough one, but I'll just give Anderson the edge 7-5.
Yeah. I've got an Anderson 7-4 in this one.
Okay, yeah. Look, yeah, Barney's just sort of been in and out all season. He's had his moments, but he's had some weeks like where he's just not looked.
He looks so he don't sort of care, does he? Not in a horrible way. If I was a Barney fan, I think I'd really struggle at times because he just looked really disinterested.
But then I think that's just the way he is. When he's playing well, he looks like that. But you don't think of it as a negative thing because you look at the scoreboard and he's winning. And you just think that that's his style. So. But as for Anderson, I think, yeah, I still think he's the one guy that can fully challenge Ben Gerwen when he's yeah. Well, when he was playing, well, he went how many games unbeaten recently? Obviously, when he had you know, the win at the UK Open and all the different things, he went on a hell of a charge, didn't he? And it was really weird because he was winning a lot of those matches, but got himself in a muddle during the Premier League, didn't he? Losing and drawing and chuck and go. But obviously he had all them back issues, didn't he? Yeah, that's true. And just as you said, the miscounting sometimes he just gets a bit lost. Like last week, a couple of times he's on 71 and he went for the 57, which would have left 14. And
yeah.
You just think, what's he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he just sort of gets in these funks where and he can't get out of it. But if you can sort that out, I think he'll be just too strong.
So they are mine and Peter's predictions for the Premier League this week in Birmingham. I just want to thank you so much for... Oh, just before you go, so who is your favourite players then? Who's your top 3 favourite players?
It's got to be the Wizard.
Yeah.
Number 1. Gary Anderson.
Cadby.
And... yeah, Corey Cadby.
Is it? Oh, I'm just putting ideas in your head here. Is it really Cadby or are you just saying that?
Well, he's the only one that I've really met properly before, so I'll go with him.
Yeah. What about Carl Anderson? You a big fan of his as well?
Oh, yeah. He could be pushing for Premier League next year too.
Good player. I wanted to get Carl Anderson in there this year, especially after he won the he won one of the World Series last year, didn't he?
Yeah, he won...
Which one was it?
In New Zealand, maybe, I think.
Yeah, he beat Cadby, didn't he? That was an absolute thriller, that was, wasn't it? Yeah, I was obviously cheering for Cadby, but I'm a huge fan. I like Carl Anderson. I think his brother, I don't know is his brother. Do you know much? Is Bo still playing? What's happening with him? Haven't heard anything about him lately.
His brother, no, not really aware of his brother. No, not sure.
Because his brother Bo, he was in the Worlds a few years back, I'm sure. Somebody watching the video, if he wasn't, you have to pick me up on that. Let me know in the comments, guys. But I know that his brother, I think it's Bo, used to, Carl's brother used to play as well. So, no, also, guys, just before I go, the fantasy darts predictions are open over at www.fantasydarts.tv. I want to thank you all for watching. Massive thank you again to Peter for taking part in the show today. If you do want to come on one of the dartsplanet.tv shows, just leave it in the comments or get in contact with me at gavin@dartplanet.tv. Until then, guys, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.